Right, as you just witnessed, I'll just cut the angle lines so I can get them up on the rails of the truck, clamp them, mark all the holes to drill in the angles here. So I'm not altering any of the mounts, the existing mounts on the truck or anything. I'm just putting new angle lines on. The other ones, yeah, they weren't the best. So we start with fresh material, get it right from the start. So I'm going to put those in the hacksaw now and square them all off, and then yeah, we'll get them up on here and clamp them to the rails and mark all those holes. I'll grab a few shots as I go. Right, just trimming the end off the angle line where I cut it with a plasma. You love my setup here. I don't have a set of rollers for the hacksaw or anything outside, so I've got an old liner there out of a 2U D8 engine with a steel on top of it and it's shimmed up, so it's all leveled. Away slowly. Right, got the angle line sitting up on the rails of the truck here. Had to play with my clamps a bit, try and get them to work, but you got a big one in the middle. Put the rough tight, and then I just set it each end and I've tacked it until I got it right. So what I've done is put a ruler on here, and that's 5mm gap required between the top of the rail and the base of the slider. That's 5mm, that bit of strap, so that just slides across there, and the same happens on the other end of the rail. So I'll go along and mark all the holes now. Something I did just do was I got a metre long or 40-inch ruler here, steel ruler. I sat that on the other side of the rails and checked the holes, and they're all true on the other side. So in theory I should be, if I got room, I may not, I could be struggling, I have to go down and even measure. Put this in my milling machine and just wind the table along. I'll get some, I want to get them all without having to relocate it. But it'll keep them straight. And yeah, thinking about it, when I put the block in here, I was going to do it the other way, make it easy to stand here and wind. But then had the great thought the block was going to cover holes up in here where I need to go along and mark the holes in the chassis. So yeah, at least I figured that one out before I went ahead and did it. I got an engineering friend, he follows me, he's watching this going, oh my god, a farmer with a steel ruler and a bit of chalk, dangerous. But we'll get there, we'll get it on, and if it doesn't work, we'll just beat it into submission. We've got some big sledgehammers, and oversize the holes, be perfect. Anyway, I'll do some marking and move along. Right, we've moved on to the drilling process of the rails here. So I've mounted in my milling machine, and obviously I know I'm limited on travel on the table. Got it packed underneath so it doesn't push the vise. I'm assuming the vise is square on the table. The holes keep lining up until I got to here. So yeah, halfway's here. So I run out of travel, so I have to slide it in the vise. Just keep an eye on the holes. I'm not sure what I'm going to do here, so I think I'll end up, I've got a wall there, it's going to bang into it. I'm going to have to reverse it in the vise and reset everything. But there's quite a bit of tolerance on the holes. They're all imperial, what we're working with. So we'll keep drilling. Right, as you know, I'm drilling along, vise, it's all clamped, winding the table, and I got to this one here. And I was like, I won't say it's quarter of a hole off, but yeah, it was out quite a bit. So I thought, what have I done there? And that white is it's a white marker pen, ink pen. So I just put it in the holes through the chassis when I had all this clamped and just went around in it. Yeah, it's done a pretty reasonable job, as you can see. So I thought I'll just go out and I'll put the straight edge ruler I've got on the holes on the rails, because obviously I had this clamped on there on the outside, so I never checked this side. I checked the other side and it's all pretty good. And counted my holes and got to this one, number 7, and it's like, sure enough, the hole's out in the chassis out there on the truck. So someone like me must have sat there with a centre punch and just guessed the heights, drilled the rails. Obviously didn't straight edge it or string line it or whatever you do. But it's all good. I'll just follow my white marks because they are true. That's what it is. Until you get to this one, and yeah, that's right. Got a fair idea. It's a cross member on the truck. There's very little room to get inside and mark it, but I'll just go straight. I'll check the holes on the rails, just to make sure between that one and the end one that there's no difference in that. But yeah, I was so stressed about trying to keep it all straight and, you know, perfection as you do, and yeah, when you realise that nothing's straight anyway, so just follow the lines and it'll work. Right, in metrics they're a 17mm hole or 11, look on the chart, sorry, 11 sixteenths is the drill I'm using. I started off with a pilot hole initially with what I was doing, but then I realised, no, this drill will do it in one cut, no issues. I don't have a big milling machine here, it's only a hobby one, does what I want to do. I won't leave that there, it'll get filled with swarth. Considering that's a blind hole, not too bad. I haven't sharpened the drill either. Just as I grabbed it out of the box. I'm gonna have to shift the light and get hit. I just have a visual. I've turned the drill and I've marked my white paint there. All looks very centre. I'm happy with that. There's quite a bit of tolerance on the bolts. I know why they do it now. Line it all up. So you got the gist of what I'm doing now. I won't bore you with all 28 of them. I haven't even put the other rail on the truck yet and clamped it and marked it. Don't know if this is going to do it. I don't think we will. Looking good. Nope. I can get that. Wind that back. Yeah, as I say, I haven't put it on the truck. I need to do that. Do the same procedure. Mark it. And obviously get that drilled, and then mount them, two bolts, 3 bolts each side, get them all sit in correct position, and set the top plate back on and mark all that, and then drill the other side of these angles. You can see where the time goes when you're doing things. So I'll leave you there, and instead of boring you to death with what I'm doing. Right, got the other rail drilled, just throwing it on there, just 2 bolts in each. Bet they'd love it if you went in there with it like that and said, well, that's all I'm going to put in it. Yeah, sat slider on there. I just wanted to double check. It's the end of the day here for me. I just sat the nut there to make sure we're going to have plenty of clearance Roughly line that up on the inside in here, but there's no issues there. None of it's squared on there at the moment. Just had my boy here and he just grabbed the forklift and lifted it up for me. It's easier with two than trying to hold it when it's turning and doing a rotation on you. I can work away on that the next opportunity I get. I'll grab a bit of footage as I square it and go along and mark all these vertical holes, and then I can remove the rails again and drill those. And then the next step will be prepping all the rail and all that before it gets bolted to the truck, which I will do, I'm thinking, and the rails will get blasted. I'll prep all the backside, prime all that. The rail's already been done, and then I'll just blast the rest of the rail when it's on the truck. A lot easier to do, not falling over and losing paint off things. And then the slider will be done as a separate thing. Okay, my last shot you would have just seen, it was late in the evening. I just lifted the fifth wheel up, sat it on the rails, so it's the next day for me. Pretty early this morning, and before I got to go and do my other jobs for the day, I come out in the shop here and I've spent quite a bit of time measuring and trying to square it all on the angle lines. So I've gone along, once I've got it square, I've marked all the holes. I've just marked those just for reference in case for some reason something failed internally. But I've gone along with a drill, neat fitting drill in the hole. And yeah, that's how I've marked the centers on those. Yeah, one I can't get in here. I don't want to slide the fifth wheel on here because I go to pull it or bar it, it'll probably might move on here. It's not worth it. So I've just chalked that one in there. In theory, they all look pretty even, these holes in the rack. I should just be able to wind that along in the mill drill and pick the center up on that. As I say, a lot of tolerance in the holes. So yeah, it's moving along really good. Try and get that drilled this morning before I get summons to another job. And yeah, it's warming up here. It's quite good in the mornings. It's good to come out in the shop and get a bit done. Try and beat the birds up. So I'll go and drill that and come up with a plan. Just thought I'd show you something here. I've drilled the first rail for the slider to sit on, so obviously onto my second, and yeah, drilled the first one, never touched the mill, went away, got my second rail, come back, I put it in, and never adjusted the slide in or out, only long ways obviously, and that there picks the hole up. So it proves that I must have got my measuring right on the slider, otherwise that'd be in or out if I had it unequal distances when I measured. So something's set up right, so that's pretty positive. Right, I'll get this drilled. Right, usual story, forgot to turn the camera on. I've just polished the rails, just used a flat wheel. I don't know what grit it is, doesn't really matter anyway. Cleaned them all up, blew them off, wiped them down, and just gave them a coat of primer. So that's where they're going to go against the rails on the truck. Primer wise, just use the Rust-Oleum primer, and if I can find it, I'll give it a coat of the CRC Rust Kill as well. Might hurt just to put that on there. Protective coating, I'd assume. So I got the chassis all cleaned up, it's all been buffed and prepped. So I'll bolt the rails on, and then the rest of the rail will get blasted while it's on the truck. I think that's the best option for me. Don't really want a big thick paint joint between the rail and the chassis. It's not the best. Primer's alright. So I'll grab that. Okay, I've just sat the rail on the truck. I forgot to show you the other day I was in town. I bought all the hardware, all the mounting hardware. So all the hardened washers, grade 8 bolts, and the 5/8 UNC, and all the lock nuts, nylon obviously. Not mucking around putting old stuff in there, it's all going to be new. Right, here's the box, obviously with the rest of the bolts on the other side, and the bolts to go through the slider and down into the right angle. I cleaned them out of hardened washers, so I have to go back to get the rest for this here, but yeah, it's going to be ages before that goes on. It's the last thing that will happen. Right, I'll go through and I'll put all these in and then set the height on this rail, because obviously it's all hanging down and that. I'll get it shimmed up right. Just putting a bit of never sees type material. It's a red, they call it, it's rubbed off there now. It's good stuff. I just put a little bit on the thread, just where the nut's going to sit. I don't want it all over it, because obviously the sand will stick to everything in a blast and be a real mess. Just thought I'll show a little bit. I'll chuck this piece up. This will be the end of the video. That's about all I've got done this week. So we've just put the bolts in and had a look at the torque specs for that size, and I've come up with a 180 foot-pound torque. So I took them up to 100 and then 150, and I had to change torque wrenches and just finished them off at, it won't focus, 180. So I'll still go around and double check them all, but I'm hoping they don't have to come off again, those rails. They're all prepped on the mounting surface. Oh yeah, it'd be a disaster if I do, because it's the end of the nylon nuts. But anyway, they all look good. I haven't sat the slider back on there to make sure all that's going to work. I own a file or a bigger drill, we'll make it fit. Nothing's happened with the turntable, it's just sitting down here on the floor. Hopefully that'll be this coming week's exercise. I'll strip that and get into it. So yeah, I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and make sure you smash that subscribe button and the like button. It does help, gets the video out there for people to watch. I'm gaining more subscribers, and it's all positive comments. They reckon the channel's got good content, it's worth watching. As I said before, I just enjoy shooting a couple of videos and showing what I do. It's not a how-to or anything like that. There's plenty of people out there you can learn that from. I'm just documenting the build, and yeah, obviously there's people out there enjoying following it as I go. It's not their money, so yeah, it makes it more enjoyable, eh? It's like me watching other people and I think, ooh, that was expensive. But the feeling is good because, yeah, it didn't hurt my pocket. But on a positive note, yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's good. The weather's slowly coming right. Yeah, I'm aiming to get this out the door after Christmas here and blast and paint, and it'll really change the outlook of the whole truck. So I'll end the video there, and yep, again, thanks for watching.